As our guest tonight on the couch. Jonathan Brown and Nick Revolt here as always, but Dyson Heppell, the captain of the Essendon Footy Club, been good enough to join us. And Dice, always say the easiest thing's fronting up when your side's up the top of the ladder and you're winning and all's good in the world. The hardest thing is when your side's struggling, and your side is struggling, so we commend you for being here tonight.
Skaz, yep, no doubt. It's hasn't been an ideal season. We've obviously been quite disappointed in our performances, and on the weekend was a very flat night. Some of the vision quite damning. But yeah, it has been a trying period, and it's part of the cape. Our footy can smash it pretty quickly, and that's all part of leadership too, mate. And I'm very proud to play for the Essendon Footy Club. Some of what we've served up hasn't been up to scratch, but I've no doubt we can bunker down, stick together. Times like this where you really need to hone in and really try and, stand for something and drag yourself out of a patch and a period where you just need to be really proud of what you're trying to put out there on a weekend.
How does that make you feel when you watch that last bit of vision there, when it is your 200th game? You have been a great servant. It's your birthday, which is neither here nor there, but it's a big emotional occasion for you, and then 2 hours later you walk off with the performance that they served up. Do you feel disrespected as the captain of the footy club?
No, look, I'm part of all of that too. Like, I'm part of that with the boys. We're one collective unit. And it had the making to be a fantastic night. The lead-in, the love and support that I got from not only the footy club, the Essendon family, but the entire footy community was outstanding. And it was pretty flattening walking off though after the game.
Well, where does it go wrong then, do you think? So the week before you have a really good comeback against Hawthorn, a lot of almost pressure felt like it got relieved on the football club. You came out and were pretty strong in the way you articulated, people to get off your back. And then you fast forward a week later and it just looks to the rest of us on the outside like it was just an event. It was just a one-off. And you had a lot to play for, your 200th,
yep.
And an opportunity to put those critics to bed.
Yep, no doubt. It's, I feel like we've been putting in a fantastic patch throughout the week of training. We're reviewing our games really firmly. The standards we're trying to uphold at the club and training with purpose and improving each week, it's just not translating on game day. And it sort of was another one of those ones on the weekend where we just couldn't tap into it. And, we have got a really young list, got a lot of young guys in the team, and we do understand that we're going to go through ups and downs throughout this period. Not to make excuses, and we've had some key players out of the team as well that we do sorely miss. But there are a lot of things, that are coming out in our games that we don't want to stand for sure.
You're spot on. Facts are that you're inexperienced at the moment. You've had injuries, all those sorts of things. But the effort is where you're starting to question the football club. That's been the narrative in the industry, and no doubt it's from your fans. 30 tackles on the weekend, 5 of your losses this year, 40 or less tackles. Competition average is 60 for context. That's win, lose or draw, so per team. So you look at Essendon, why is that? Why is your tackle count or your lack of pressure happening consistently this season?
Yeah, it's hard to nail down one thing, mate, but it really is, and it's just a period where we still need to dive into the whys, and we're not going to shy away from that. Everyone's taking ownership of their own individual performances. We're not blaming or making excuses or having corridor chats. It's all open and in the air and in the environment within the footy club. And each and every one of you guys would have gone through periods like this. And it is tough. It is tough to keep everyone together. But that is the key to it. You've got to keep bunkering down and making sure everyone's working as a collective, as a cohesive unit. Have trust in the game plan that we're implementing. Have trust in the senior coach, which I absolutely do. And work through this period together, and no doubt we'll bounce out of it.
So I hear contest method a lot in the post-match press conference from Ben Rutten. So that's obviously where things are breaking down. Is it the method, though, or is it more to do with the effort? Because those tackling numbers and those pressure numbers are unacceptable at league level.
I guess the method part comes into it, gives you a chance to actually be in a position to be able to tackle. And it's, I guess that could be a main area where things are breaking down at times. But yeah, and also throughout stages where you're going through periods like this, sometimes you can try too hard, and in the end, you end up making decisions that it looks like you're not even trying.
Yeah.
As funny as it sounds, it can often come across that way. So, yeah, we're going to keep working though, mate. And I say it again and again, and I may sound like over-optimistic at times, but I've been through periods like this where if you approach it in the right way, you have the right mindset and you stick together, you come flying out of these periods, you learn so much, you're more galvanised as a playing list. So no doubt I really firmly believe that will happen.
There'll be a lot of Essendon supporters at home listening just saying these are words, Dyson. I heard it 2 weeks ago from you, I heard it from Andy McGrath 2 weeks, I've heard it from you boys a lot, and it doesn't translate. How do you answer that?
Yeah, mate, as I said, it may sound repetitive, but history has shown when we've been in periods like this, we have bounced out of them. And we had a season last year where we stood for a real identity and everyone was right behind us. We had this wave of momentum coming. And I have every faith that we can get back to that. You see teams like Richmond of the past, 2016, Melbourne themselves, getting questioned a lot of times. And within the space of half a season, 12 months, they have premiership players, premiership clubs. So some of the best teams go through this.
Can we get specific then? So the Dylan Shields situation's been talked about a lot, and the vision, and the Luke Parker publicly and openly taunting one of your teammates, and it's hard to watch. You see, we don't see it very often, and you're watching it, and you're going, "Where's?" Well, so you're sitting on the couch going, what's the response going to be here? And then one of your all-time greats, Matthew Lloyd, I think we got the audio here, had this to say on the weekend.
You never ever want to be walked over in life or disrespected in any way. And I thought Dylan Shields was disrespected in a way you never want to be treated as a footballer. And this was the next contest. I would have ploughed straight through Parker here and got him to the ground and said, you will never, ever treat me like that again. Free kick. I wouldn't have cared what happened. I think that'll be something that Ben Rutten will show and say, this is how you are viewed, Dylan, and this is how us as a team are being viewed. Where's the nastiness gone?
So this is one of your all-time greats, a captain of the footy club, who's challenging you as are you too nice? You don't care enough for your teammates? You lack a response when you're being publicly embarrassed like that? How do you answer that?
Yeah, look, look, Lloydy's got every right to say that, no doubt. Everyone has their own opinion, that's fine. But what does he want Dylan to plough through someone, give away a free kick, give away a 50-metre penalty and another goal? This day and age, free kicks are given away so quickly. And I think that the hardness and the firmness and what you're talking about in being a nice football team, it's not about giving away free kicks or showing full-blown aggression, or it's when the ball's there to be won. That's what we want to stand for. So playing good, quality, tough footy. So
in that situation again, what would you, as captain of the club, what would you want your teammates in the moment when Luke Parker's doing that? Would you want a response? Would you want someone to get over and get a body on it?
If they're aware of it, and by the looks of it, they seem to be oblivious to it. I had no idea it was happening in the moment. I hadn't even seen the vision. That was the first time. So if you're aware of it in the moment, I have no doubt teammates will go straight over and help and support.
Have you spoken about it as a group? Have you addressed that moment as a group?
No, mate, no. I hadn't seen that vision at all, no. No.
So it hadn't been brought up, I don't know, did you train today?
No, we're in the club tomorrow, yep.
Right.
So have you got any idea about what you might say to the group about something like that?
No, I think it's the reinforcement of absolutely we support our teammates if the moment's there and the moment's right. But I'm not going to go in there and say sling Parker to the ground and give away a free kick. That does us no favours.
Yep.
Our brand and our identity wants to be... We are playing within the rules, but we're playing hard and tough, absolutely.
So on the back of that, Dom, mate, I don't want to dwell on it, but then so you go, OK, that's great. So where's the tackling pressure? Where's the tackling intent? So 30 tackles for a game, 50 attempted tackles for a whole match.
Yep.
So then we go, OK, I accept that. Let's not give free kick away. Let's win a hard footy. The tackle pressure then. Yeah,
absolutely. And, Gaz, we're not shying away from it, mate. We put in a really disappointing performance. We want to work on that. We're going to go to work. And I know you say we've been saying these things, but we will. We'll bury in and we'll get better. I have full trust in the playing group, the character of the group, the belief that we have in each other. But when you go through periods and you're trying to seek validation for results and they're just not coming, you do tend to lack confidence with a lot of young players in the group as well. So we need to just find that vibrant, fucking energy and work towards it to galvanise each other and get out of it.
Just from an outside perspective, that's all we can do. I look at the team and I look at you as a general, but I look around and I go, geez, who else is a general out there? Who else is a leader? Who else is prepared to have the tough conversations when they need to be had on the football field during that 2 hours of the game, and obviously in the locker room throughout the week, which we can't see? Who are you supporting? Who is your supporting cast when it comes to real leadership?
Yeah, I don't need to single out names, mate, but there are a lot of guys that put in a lot of work to develop their leadership and help me throughout the week as well. So we have an enormous group of performance leaders throughout the club that are outstanding at having those honest conversations throughout the week that you don't see in the open forum. Behind closed doors, those conversations are happening. Guys are developing. Guys are really assisting me in the culture and the environment that we want to create.
So you think it's unfair if we're looking at the game, we just don't see those demonstrative sort of behaviours, whether that be talking to a teammate or showing leadership, directing out there, changing the course of the game. Is that a fair criticism or a fair assessment from the outside when we look at the Essendon Football Club at the moment?
I don't think it's a fair assessment. I think you'd find there's certainly moments that guys are really constructive and directive and honest with their conversations, but it's all well and good to find the ones that don't look great.
Dyson, we spoke off the top about it. It was your 200th game on the weekend, and we saw some pictures from before the game of you running out and a lot of family and friends up there. How many tickets did you have to get, mate?
I think I round up about 60 odd, mate.
Yeah, well, looked like you were up and about, and you were clearly pumped about the occasion.
Yeah.
That wore some criticism today about the over celebration almost before the game as a captain leading the group out. Can you talk us through this moment?
Mate, this was it was honestly one of my favourite moments of my career. To have my family and friends and loved ones that have been there since day dot supporting me, to be able to have them on the ground on my 200th and my 30th birthday was unreal. It honestly was. It was a really nice moment.
So when that criticism comes, do you think we as a football media and a football public are out of touch with the emotion of the game now? And there was criticism after a loss early in the year for smiling and almost too much enjoyment rather than the hard, ruthless edge. And we had a phone conversation about this last week. Do we need to be educated?
Look, mate, everyone's got their own opinions and everyone can take things in different ways. And we had that phone call. Like in a moment like that, I'm going to take the opportunity to be extremely grateful to those that have been there since day dot with me. Has no bearing on the performance whatsoever. No one mentions that if we win that game. And there have been moments, yes, that, OK, we might be smiling post-game or whatever, but we are absolutely hurting inside and disappointed during the week. We're having really honest conversations. We're diving into it extremely hard. But you can't go there and just have a sour look on your face and carry that disappointment through, because you're not going to work through it if you're stuck in the past on what's just happened. Being a sore loser, not, respecting opponents or shaking their hands after games. That's just not what I stand for. I want to be a good sport, and I think having kids that are watching me on TV or whoever it may be stand for something good, and trying to enjoy as footy as much as you can. And it can be a bloody tough caper, and it can chew you up at times. But I'm always going to try and be my authentic self in that.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have, when things aren't going well, because clearly you can point to last year in the last half of last season and say, well, that style worked for us.
Yep.
Look at how we finished the season.
Yep.
When it's not working, do you have other gears that you can turn to? Can you be Captain Grumpy all of a sudden and go a bit more of a hardline approach within the group? Does that opportunity present, and is that possible?
Absolutely, if there's hard conversations to be had, but they don't need to be with the sadness on your face.
Yeah.
They can be with firm and direct, absolutely. No doubt, but then you move on and you work through it with that player together. You help them get out of that period. You keep them motivated in a really good space to want to work together.
Have you had to alter your leadership style? Because it's not just you, but it seems like players are making more of a conscious effort to be relaxed out on the footy field. So obviously they're getting a lot more criticism now. Even guys laugh now after a loss. Have you ever had to alter that mindset? Have you changed it, or that's generally who you've been all throughout your career?
Yeah, I think that's something that I can hang my hat on. That's been me. Yeah, I'm being my authentic self in my leadership, and I'm not going to change due to some criticism from the outside.
It's emotional. I can see it. It's an emotional game. I mean, are you feeling the emotion of it? Are you sensing the frustration of a massive supporting group out there that want for nothing as a football club? And right now, you're 2-7 after playing finals last year.
Yeah, bloody oath, Gaz, because I care. I really do care. You know, I love the footy club. Love playing for them, and it is disappointing the way we have been performing. And you know, I want our supporters and fans and members to be really proud of what we put out there on a weekend, and that's why it's sort of, you know, I can feel the emotion, mate, and it's, you know, I want to absolutely have full belief, and I do, in the entire club. We've got the right people in the right spots. We have a young, vibrant playing list that is going to set us up for years and years to come. So we can't just look at this period right now. We've got a long trajectory to go, and no doubt we're going to work through it together. So
let's look forward then. I mean, it's just hard going, and it's a circuit. You're the talking point. The footy club is, and you know that in this town. So, I applaud you for fronting up and answering the question. So, let's look forward. What can we? You know, the numbers. We can look at the numbers that the players that aren't there, and the reality is you're missing, I think, the second most number of players through injury. You're putting out young teams week after week. Can we expect to see most points lost on the scoreboard? The injury. We know what West Coast have been through, given their circumstances.
You almost don't count West Coast.
Yeah, that's right. So
situation.
That puts you right up the very top there. So looking forward, I mean, you've got 3 big Friday night games coming up. You know, nowhere to hide. We sit down, everyone watches Friday night footy. Can we expect someone back? Can we get something to look forward to for the Essendon fans?
Yeah, look, no doubt. And whether it's the return of players or not, I've no doubt we will respond in a way that you'll see a brand and an identity that the supporters and fans and members of this club can be proud of. The hard edge will be when the footy's there to be won, and we want to stick up and support our players and teammates in moments like that. It's not what we want to stand for.
That brand and identity, so we know what we're looking for. So the coach spoke a couple of weeks ago about playing with more flair, which seemed a little bit contradictory when I reckon it's probably been your defensive stuff. We've spoken about tackles, which has been letting you guys down. The brand and identity, what will it look like?
Yeah, I think that's the pillar that we talk about, tackling. We want to be elite around that area and our blitz pressure on the ball, and then it's just playing with some spirit, that celebrate and care for each other. I think that's what I really want to see from the group.
Well, it's again, I've been there, we've all been there. I think at various stages in our career.
It's not an easy spot when you're the front man, and so we do really appreciate you coming in.
Yep, we do indeed, and we wish you well. We hope it turns for you, and thanks for fronting up.
Thanks, boys. Cheers.